I woke up with a terrible headache. I opened my eyes to see that I was lying down. I raised my hand to cover my eyes from the strong light that was coming from the window.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the nurses would know better to just close the windows or have some shades. No hospital I've ever been to has windows that open like that.
And I noticed a long, thin tube attached to my hand. Wait, am I in the hospital? I looked around. I was lying in bed wearing a hospital gown, but no one was in the room. I checked my body. There was no sign of injuries or broken limbs. I was not feeling any pain.
Wait, what? Okay, so if you go further into the video, you'll find out that he got into some sort of accident, right? So how did he check his body and not find any injuries at all? This makes no sense. Did he just get into a coma without any injuries? I'd assume he'd had some injuries that would have caused the coma that he's in right now. These stories don't make any sense. I mean, you can already tell these are fake.
How did I end up here? I turned around and noticed the red button next to my bed. It had a little sign next to it that said, "Press in case of an emergency." And so I...
Wait. Tell me where that button is in real life. I've never seen a button like that.
did. A nurse came rushing in. When she saw me, she freaked out and started calling the doctors. "Oh my God, Mr. Jeff, you finally woke up! That's a miracle!" Then 2 doctors came in and checked me. They started asking me stupid questions like how my name is spelled or what the sum of 1 plus 1 is.
What? What does that have to do with anything? What does 1 plus 1 have to do with anyone's identity? He was in a coma. He could have had some sort of memory loss, and 1 plus 1 does not relate to him in any way. These doctors and these characters in these stories are completely stupid, I swear to God.
And then they started asking personal questions about different things in my life, and I answered them suspiciously. You seem perfect.
Wait, why did he answer them suspiciously? This makes no sense. The doctors are trying to help you. You've woken up from a coma, and you're in a hospital. What do you mean there's no reason to be suspicious?
You seem perfectly fine. We're just going to run a few tests and see the results. Then you should be able to go home. Wow, your family is going to be happy to see you awake. I was confused. Everything was happening all at once. The doctor...
What is going on with the animation? Why does he look like he's spazzing out? Like, this is such low-quality animation. If you don't have the animation capabilities, then you shouldn't even try to animate it like this.
Noticed I was struggling to understand. So he explained that I had an accident, and I hit my head really hard and broke my leg. I was rushed to the hospital.
Wait, so you hit your head and then you broke your leg, but when you woke up, you found nothing wrong with your body? Not even any sign of a cast, maybe? How long were you in a coma for? Gee.
Hospital. The doctors treated me well, but I wouldn't wake up. I was in a coma for a year. A whole year.
Okay, I guess that answers my question.
I stared at the doctor's face. Was he joking?
Okay, why would a doctor joke about something as serious as a coma as this?
It turned out he was not. The doctor explained, when someone falls into a coma...
This animation literally makes him look like a coma is like dying or something. It's not. It's just being unconscious for a long time. Being unconscious doesn't mean you're dead.
They become unconscious. Nothing could wake them up. They wake up when they're ready.
On with this guy?
We only have to wait. My family came rushing in an hour later. Mom, Dad, and my twin sisters. They were excited to see me. Mom was crying and Dad was emotional for the first time in his life.
Wait. So your dad gets emotional for the first time in his life when you get into a coma? Man, you must have some really bad parents then.
Then, a nice-looking woman called Amelia came in. She said hi to everyone and kissed Mom. Then she kissed me on the cheek, and she gave me a 1-minute hug, then said, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you're back." I looked at her feeling confused. "Excuse me, do I know you?" They all started laughing, and then Mom said, "Oh, the doctors warned us there would be some memory loss because of the head injury." Then she looked at me like she was feeling sorry for me and said, "She's your fiancée. She's the one who saved your life. Don't feel bad, honey. You'll remember everything in time." But I responded, "No, she's not. I don't remember being engaged to anyone." But Mom said, "Look at your finger, sweetheart. The ring is there. Amelia has one too." I didn't know what to respond. My mom said it as if it was a fact. I looked at my hand and there it was. And then I looked at Amelia. She didn't say anything. She just smiled. The whole thing felt so strange.
Okay, so basically he finds out that he's already engaged, and then he gets discharged from the hospital after 3 days, and he goes home. And then he just basically complains about, how Amelia is annoying and all that stuff, and how he doesn't find her attractive, and he doesn't know why he got engaged to her in the first place. Yeah, so he just bitches about that for like a couple minutes, so we're just going to skip ahead.
Amelia was always busy. Every time I suggested we spend time together, she would give me an excuse for why she can't. She worked as a cafe manager, and she would always say she couldn't leave the cafe because there was too much work.
Yeah, maybe because she's a normal human being and she has to work and she's busy, unlike you. I don't know what you're doing, but you're probably just sat on your ass after that coma, aren't you?
And she can't leave it for the other workers, which seemed implausible, because I know she can control her own hours. Then, when my dad suggested going on a family trip to our beach house, she was the first to say yes. I could make that work. I could hire an employee for when we were gone, she said. Wait.
No, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on here. She's got the hots for his dad.
What? I looked at her and said, I've been trying to go out on a dinner with you for 2 weeks now, and you said you couldn't because you were preoccupied with work. What happened now? She blushed and said, the worker that I count on the most got back from his trip 2 days ago, so I'm free now. I didn't say anything, and she went to the beach house. She was happy to be with the family. On the first day, I asked her to go on a long walk with me just before sunset. The view was magical, and I thought that was the perfect time to kiss her, because I haven't tried that since I woke up from my coma. She only kissed me on the cheek and forehead, but I thought she was ready to do that. I leaned over to kiss her, and the kiss was good. It was not great or mesmerizing, just good. A bit disappointing, actually, and so I decided to break up with her. That's it. I couldn't do it anymore.
Wait, hang on, what? So the basis for you breaking up was that she was a bad kisser and not on something more fundamental like, oh, I don't know, she never has the time to speak to you, or she never explains how you guys got engaged or helps you with anything, and she kind of seems indifferent to you. Yeah, I know, she's just a bad kisser, so I'm just going to break up with her. That's the main reason why. Not because all these other fundamental issues that are wrong with the relationship.
As soon as we got back to the city, I was going to break up with her. But then 2 days after I got to my apartment, my friends and coworkers arranged a party for me. They wanted to celebrate my engagement and welcome my coming back to work at the same time. It seemed inappropriate to announce my breakup at that time. So at the night...
Wait, why? If you're gonna break up with her, then do it then. Because people are expecting that you guys are getting engaged. This doesn't make sense at all. So you're gonna get engaged and then announce your breakup?
At the party, I went to pick Amelia up, and wow, she looked amazing in her black dress. I felt that I was falling for her, and that I really liked her. When I got there, I started introducing her to my friends. She didn't seem to know anyone there. And then while I was talking to my boss, a very beautiful lady came next to me and said, I thought you disappeared. I looked at her and said, I'm sorry, but how do I know you? She smiled and said, yeah, I'm Kristen. We were supposed to go on our first date right before you had the accident. I waited, but you never called, so I assumed you were not interested.
Hell would she even be invited to your engagement party? I mean, she's someone you didn't even know. You were supposed to go on a first date, but you never showed up. I can't imagine anyone would care this much about someone who never showed up. You know, they just kind of stood them up on the first date. I don't think anyone would care that much.
I stared at her for a few moments, and my brain was going in circles. Kristen, Amelia, the accident, the engagement. There's a link between them all, but I can't get my hands on it. I apologized to Kristen, and I went straight to ask Amelia about how exactly we met. Something was not right. She was standing on the balcony outside. When I came close, I heard her saying, I can't do this anymore. I thought it would be easy, but it wasn't. I think I'm going to tell him tonight. Wait, who is she talking to? I took 3 steps back and then stood next to the door. And then I heard her speak one more time. Simon, this is getting out of hand. He's not buying it. He's noticing all the wrong things I'm doing. Maybe I'm not a good actor. Simon, was she talking to my dad?
Well, the plot thickens. And also, she's a slut.
Something was messed up indeed, but I didn't expect that my dad had something to do with it. Then she said, I'll talk to you later, when we get back home. She hung up and stood there for a minute to calm down. My initial thought was to yell at her and make her explain everything to me. But after a second thought, I decided not to. If there was something going on, I needed to know it all by myself, because she would most likely lie to my face and twist the truth. So I took a deep breath and went out there, saying, Oh, honey, I missed you. What are you doing here? Amelia just smiled awkwardly and came in with me. I introduced her to more friends as if nothing happened. That night, Amelia spent the night at my house. While she was sleeping, I took her phone and opened it by pressing one of her fingers on the lock screen.
Hold up, what phone is this? I need this phone. You can just open the phone by pressing your finger on the lock screen? Like what? I'm pretty sure you have to use the fingerprint identifier or I don't know, a Face ID or something. I don't know, this must be like iPhone 56.
I knew she couldn't wake up because she drank too much that night. She was nervous, and I kept giving her drinks. And when I opened her phone, I read something that shocked the hell out of me. Dad was having an affair with Amelia. They had tons of pictures together sleeping in different hotel rooms and even in our beach house. What the hell? But, in a strange way, it all clicked. When I had the accident, Dad saw Amelia. He liked her and started seeing her. Then they faked the whole engagement thing so Dad could cheat on Mom whenever he wanted to. I mean, she would be my wife, so no one would suspect anything if they saw them together.
Wait, that's kind of messed up. You're kind of, not only are you cheating on your wife, but you're also doing it with someone who's supposed to be engaged to your son. Okay, this is such a long, drawn-out plan just to, I don't know, cheat on your wife. Like, if you really wanted to do that, which I don't encourage, but if you did, why don't you just, I don't know, be stealthy and, skillful instead of going through all this unnecessary bullshit. And it just so happened that he was in a coma. He got into an accident. He was in a coma. And I'm pretty sure, the story doesn't make sense at all.
And when I asked Tom about her, he confirmed it to me because he thought I was talking about Kristen, not Amelia. Oh, how sneaky of them. I thought I was going crazy for not remembering her. It turns out I was only a fool. I then scrolled down the messages between her and my dad. And there, I found the answer. Dad had promised her $2 million if she marries me and stays with him. He told her that she was the love of his life.
What the hell? $2 million just for some hoe to cheat with? Are you kidding me? Dude, there's this thing called prostitutes. I think someone should introduce this guy to it. And also, she's the love of your life. Yeah, I'm sure she is, mate. That's why you're paying her to love you. That's not called love, that's called prostitution.
Ugh! I was furious to think my dad would manipulate me and use me as a puppet to satisfy his own pleasure. I felt like a complete idiot. And $2 million? I didn't know my dad had that much money. Where was he hiding all of this?
Again, a very long, drawn-out, and expensive, and unnecessarily complicated plan just to, have an affair.
I sat there speechless trying to soak it all in, but I couldn't sit still. Mom doesn't deserve this, and Amelia cannot take Dad's money if he had any. It should be ours, his children.
Why? You didn't earn that money. You didn't work for that money. It was his, as from the context of this video. This is how spoiled, snobby, and pretentious little kids are formed.
So I made a copy of the messages and sent them to my mom. She needs to know the truth. In the morning when Amelia woke up, I told her that everything was over between us. She looked confused and even said, "We just celebrated our engagement." She totally believed her lie, as if we were a normal couple who loved each other. But I just refused to listen and kicked her out of...
Whoa, what the hell? What is going on with this animation? This animation is taking things in such literal terms. She's being kicked out of the house. I'm pretty sure that's abuse.
The house. Then, an hour later, I got a call from Mom. I went to our house. She and Dad were fighting. "I want a divorce now," she screamed. And Dad looked at me. He knew I was the one to do this. He yelled at me saying, "If only you could keep your mouth shut."
I hate how these characters act like they did nothing wrong and they feel like they're in the right, but he's clearly not. He's cheated on his wife, and his son revealing that to his mother is somehow wrong. I don't understand why he's upset. He should be guilty, not upset about that his son exposed him.
I yelled back, "Are you screaming at me? You should keep your zipper shut." Dad was...
Which zipper? God damn it.
Shut. Dad was furious, but he said nothing and left the room. My parents got divorced 2 months later. But the surprise was that the money my dad wanted to give Amelia was Mom's in the first place. Mom came from a rich family that I knew nothing about.
How did she come from a rich family and you know nothing about it? I'm sure that's completely realistic. If she had the resources, she would have used it to make her life better. I don't think this makes sense at all.
Thing about. She wrote everything in my name in a will so no one can ever get it but me.
Also, why did she leave you in your will? I feel like you did nothing to earn that. You had two other siblings and she left all just for you. Man, favoritism. You really must be her favorite child or something.
And now I'm dating Kristen, my first true crush. Did you like my story? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe.
No.